Hi everyone and welcome back. It's Mindy with Mindy Egan Design, and today I'm going to be creating this ocean shadow box card using products from Lawn Fawn. I've been having a lot of fun with their new release, so I wanted to show you what I did here. I did speed this up quite a bit, just so you are aware, but you'll be able to see and get the basics of everything I did. I'm taking a piece of Bristol Smooth cardstock and I'm ink blending Twisted Citron, Salty Ocean, and Blueprint Sketch, just going over those lines to make sure there's no harsh lines. This is actually my second panel because I was kind of testing out the first time around. So I do have two panels like this. This is going to be the inside panels of my shadow box card. I kind of wanted the whole underwater theme, so I wanted to have some ink blending back there. And then I just sprinkled that with water and picked that up, and you can see I'm lining up those inside panels there. So now I'm coming in, I'm going to use these ocean waves. This is from the ocean add-on that you can do for the shadow box. And I have a larger piece of cardstock. I actually didn't need this big of a piece. It just happened to be what I grabbed off of my scraps pile. And I'm ink blending Salty Ocean, Blueprint Sketch, and then I'll come in with some black soot. I did try some Mermaid Lagoon, but it really wasn't much of a difference, so I didn't worry about that one too much. I just came in with those darker colors to create that gradient of colors, and I'm blending out between the two so that there's no harsh lines. And then, like I said, coming in with that black soot just to give it a little bit darker of an effect, because towards the bottom of the ocean it's a little darker. So I did come in and then blend those two out. And I'm also going to sprinkle some water on top of this with my distress sprayer. I like to take the cap off and sprinkle it on. I really like how those droplets lay. And then dabbing that up. And this is just gorgeous. I love that background piece. So here I'm using the panels from the Shadow Box die. And I'm lining up where I want to cut out of my ink blended backgrounds. I'm also taking a look off on the side. I have the actual panel that it's going to cut to make the box. So I'm just making sure I have these inside panels going in the right direction. And I'll need to cut two of those. You'll see here I have two of those panels cut because those are the skinny ends off on the side, and then that's going to be the back panel. So you can see those have those cool gradient going from the light to dark. And then I'm going to do this with the ocean waves too. So I just kind of pick a spot on my card on the ink blended background of what I want to cut out. So I'll have one that's a little bit darker, one that's a little bit lighter, and I'm holding them in place with some Post-it tape. And like I said, I'm going to save that piece off on the side because there's some really cool ink blending on that piece, and there's a lot of paper there yet, so I'm going to save that for later. So now I have those inside panels done. I'm going to take this first die for the shadow box, and I'm going to cut two of them, one of which I'm using, I need to cut the opening for the box, and that is the scalloped edges out of the ocean add-on. And now I'm just going to go through and score all of those lines. You could go and add this to your score buddy if you have one and kind of deepen those creases, but I just freehanded it. And you can see how these are going to line up. And then I can glue these down to create the inside panels. Now that back panel you saw is actually the window opening from the shadow box. So it's not an actual die to create that panel in the back. I just used it for that purpose. So you can see, and then I did one upside down. So I just redid that, kind of bumping them up next to each other to make sure I have everything going in the right direction. And then folding in my lines for my ocean waves. So I'm using some thin score tape to hold all of my flaps together. I like the score tape because it's nice and strong. I know it's going to hold. And then any extra, mine was a little bit thick, so I just folded it over. And then butting those two pieces up next to each other and attaching those up. Now that last piece I probably shouldn't have attached right away to actually form the box, but it still worked out fine, no big deal. And I'm using that score tape on the sides of my ocean waves too. And then I can remove that and get these attached. Now I wanted one piece of the waves higher than the other, and actually I probably put it too high, but that score tape is really sticky. So afterwards I wasn't moving it. It was going to stay just where it was. So you can see I attach it to one side of the panel, and I kind of close the box a little bit, shift it, and attach it to the other side. That way when you fold it up to fit into an envelope, it's not going to be all wonky. It's going to lay nice and flat. And I'm also going to link down below to Kelly's video over on the Lawn Fawn YouTube channel. She does a great job of explaining exactly how these line up. Like I said, mine's a really quick walkthrough of it. You can kind of get the idea. And I'm just showing you what I did, or my interpretation of the ocean box. So now I'm going to come in, and I'm using the Sublime stamp set. This is also something new. And I'm just laying out a bunch of images. I wasn't sure exactly if I was going to use them all or not, but I just laid them all out. They were super cute and super fast to color up. And I stamped them onto Neenah Solar White cardstock using the Lawn Fawn Black ink, which is a Copic safe ink, because I'll be coloring them with my Copic markers. So I have those all stamped and ready to go. And there's some really cute sentiments on here. There's just tons of images for scene building on this. I also did go ahead and die cut out this banner, which is on the ocean add-on too. And what I'm doing, and this is a trick I picked up from Kelly, is I'm using that clear acetate with a stamp set to lay over the banner so that I can curve my sentiment. And then I can pick it up with the door of my Misty, remove that acetate, and then stamp it in the black ink. So that's a really cute trick. So if you wanted to curve your sentiments, that works really well. So now I'm going through with these images, and I'm doing just some really simple, basic coloring. I'm not doing anything fancy here. I do add a little bit of shading just on one side of the critters. Like I said, nothing real major. I just wanted some dimension. So I'll have the colors listed on the top as well as on my blog too. So I am coming in with about 2 to 3 colors each, and I wanted to make sure I had everything a different color, kind of rainbow-ish, I guess. So I have my red lobster up there, and then I have, what is this, a coral reef maybe, something like that. And I did that with some pinks. And I typically go over images twice. These are pretty small images, so what I end up doing once I color them in is I just go back over my shadow areas with my darkest marker, and that was just enough. I didn't need to do any real serious blending on them because they are small and they're just adorable. So as long as there was some sort of dimension to them, I was perfectly happy. So everything, like I said, is pretty simple. The fish, everything I went in with my lightest color first, which is kind of backwards for me. I don't typically do that, but I just laid down some color and then going over them from darkest to lightest, blending them out. And like I said, there is that darker color. I just added a little bit on the bottom to deepen that shadow area. Now on my submarine, I do have a little bit more of an area to color. So I am coming in here with my lightest color, which is the Y15, laying down that color. And then I could start coming in with the darkest, which is the Y38. And I'm laying that over the top and the bottom, just because I wanted to kind of have it nice and bright in the middle where those windows are going to be. And then I can blend it out with the Y19 and finish it off with the Y15. So it kind of has, like I said, that dimension to it of the darker and lighter areas. Of course, it's going to be darker on the bottom because it's closer to the bottom of my ocean. And the top, I just did for fun. Like I said, it doesn't have to be fancy coloring as long as you're having fun, you enjoy it. They're adorable images to work with. And then I'm coloring in the propeller with some red, and I'm using the same reds that I did with my lobster. I try to use what I already have on my desk so I don't have my entire Copic collection sitting on the table. And then the little spout, what do you call those? The telescope, periscope on top. Now for the windows, I'm coming in with a C4, and I'm just randomly going over. I don't know how to explain it. I just kind of randomly colored, but I left little lines of white in there so that it kind of gives the look of streaks of light on my windows. And I was really happy with how it turned out. Not very good at explaining it, but you saw it there, and I think it looks really cool. So now I'm on to my eel, and I'm doing the body in some purples. And then I'm going to do the eel's fins in some greens. I just thought those kind of work together really nicely. And I'm trying to keep his middle of the body fairly light so he looks kind of shiny and slick. So there I'm kind of going through with the greens. And then just a little bit on my rock. I wasn't sure if I was going to use it yet or not. Now, I kind of wanted to brighten these up a little bit, so I'm just taking a white Prismacolored pencil and adding those into my lightest areas just to try and make those light areas pop a little bit more. Doesn't have to be real hard when you're pushing that pencil down. So now I can go through die cut all these images using the coordinating die set, and I'm using the Post-it note tape to hold those in place. I really do like getting the coordinating die set just because it is a lot easier than fussy cutting. Funny part is I do have a scan and cut machine, but it's just so big for my table, and my Big Shot is out all the time. So this is just easier to use the coordinating dies for, and it cuts out everything. So pretty much what you're going to be seeing here for the rest of the video is just me lining up where I wanted everything to go. I kind of played with things a little bit to get an idea and then just started gluing down. The adhesive I'm using is, I can reposition things if I need to until it really gets pushed down. These little pieces of seaweed, there's a shell also that came with the ocean add-on. So I'm adding those into my background that I had used some cilantro cardstock for. I thought that was just a really nice addition to my little underwater scene I got going on. And actually, it's funny, I should have actually put my submarine kind of behind because you can't really tell it's an ocean wave, but that's okay. I'm happy with it no matter what. I think this is super cute. I liked the sending my deepest thanks because then I can give this to a teacher because it's end of the year, so I'm always looking for thank you cards for teachers. And I just thought this was really creative, really fun. I think the teacher is going to get a really big kick out of this. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this kind of gave you some ideas to maybe dig out your inks, play with those with this ocean add-on. I'll have all of those supplies listed down below and also on my blog. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so and want to continue getting updates from me. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch today. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you next time.